and welcome to the Sunshine Cathedral. The Sunshine Cathedral is a different kind of church where the past is past and the future has infinite possibilities. And with that, we invite you to come and worship with us here on Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:30 a.m. at 1480 Southwest 9th Avenue. Now, I invite you to come in and worship with us here at the Sunshine Cathedral.
Our first reading today is from the wisdom of the Dhammapada. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind. In these human words, God's voice is heard.
Our second reading is from the wisdom of Melinda Elliott Kramer and Fanny Brooks James. Being whole must be our realization. We unfold health eternal. The individual, as an expression of the universal life, can be only what that life is. The infinite created us out of its own health. Healing is the awareness of that health as our nature. In these human words, God's voice is heard.
God is with you.
And also with you.
A reading from the Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you.
As Jesus and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting by the roadside. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take heart, get up, he is calling you." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. Then Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said to him, "My teacher, let me see again." Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed him on the way. This is the gospel, the good news.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for.
love the choir anthem today, the Seasons of Love, talking about how do you measure or see? How do you see the quality of your life, basically? How do you determine the quality of your life? And it's, of course, by the experience of love, how much you love. There's good times and bad times, but as long as there's an ongoing loving experience, then it's all worthwhile. And then, of course, that wonderful 1972 Johnny Nash song, the sunshiny day. I can see clearly now. I love that. The words of that song fit very well with the progressive and positive and practical message that we so consistently try to lift up here at Sunshine Cathedral. And what I love about the song, besides it having a catchy tune and positive lyrics, is that the song is a series of affirmations. It's a series of declarative statements, a series of positive thoughts stated in the present tense. I can see clearly now. We could just do a whole sermon on that. I can see clearly now. But it goes on. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And that would be a beautiful prayer in and of itself. We could just stop there. But then there is the reminder to look ahead, to move forward, to believe in possibilities, and to choose the thoughts and the attitudes and the feelings that create the future we want. Look all around. There's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead. Look forward. There's nothing but blue skies. And those too can be affirmations. I look all around. There's nothing but blue skies. I look ahead. There's nothing but blue skies. Divine life so wants to live us, so wants to be expressed abundantly through us, that even in the secular arts, its affirming positive message comes to us. In art, in science, in nature, in relationships, as well as in what we've always called sacred. The message of affirming life comes to us over and over again. And it's all about believing in possibilities, affirming yourself, believing in possibilities, and choosing to move forward, to look ahead and move forward. You know, Jesus said, no one who puts a hand to the plow but looks back is fit for the realm of God. That's in the Gospel of Luke. No one who puts a hand to the plow but looks back is fit for the realm of God. And what that means is we don't create the future we deserve by longing for yesterday. And we don't create the future that we need and want by regretting yesterday. No matter how good or bad yesterday was, it's over. And so we need to be focusing on creating tomorrow, and we do that with the choices and the thoughts and the attitudes and the actions that we have today. And if we stay focused on yesterday, we'll be stuck in the now, and if we're stuck in the now, we won't be creating the future we deserve and desire. We say every week, the past is past, and the future has infinite possibilities. We want to look ahead and move forward. Even if we wind up going through a wilderness, we trust that on the other side there is a land of promise. In today's gospel reading, Jesus and his friends are leaving Jericho. And as they travel, a visually impaired man named Bartimaeus calls out for help. Some people are annoyed by that. Some people are annoyed by those who have needs. Some people are annoyed by those who need a little extra help. And so they tell him, shut up. Just shut up whining about how you need some help. Who was he to think that his life could improve? Who was he to think that he deserved to have a hand up, to be cared about, to be thought about at all? But he is determined to give healing every chance possible. And so even though he is told to shut up, instead of giving in to shame, he decides that he will try even more to be heard. So he calls out even more loudly for help. He adjusts his volume and he tries again and again. And he does get Jesus' attention. And then he goes to Jesus. Jesus calls for him, and he gets up and he goes to Jesus. Every Sunday, we have this prayer ritual where we come forward and we stand together and we hold each other and we support each other, where we are participating in the possibilities of healing. And that's exactly what Bartimaeus does. He gets up and he goes to Jesus. Bartimaeus steps forward. He moves out in faith. He takes a risk. Yes, he has. Yes, he has said that he wants improvement. He has said things aren't good enough right now, and I want them to improve. But he also shows a willingness to participate in the creation of his own future. He doesn't just say it isn't good enough, and he doesn't just say he wants it to be better. He says with his life, with his actions, I am willing to do what I can to make it better. The story says his sight is restored, but not because God loved him more than others who continued to struggle. Sometimes we'll say, why did that person get a lucky break? Why did that person get through their difficulty? Why did that person just seem to have a charmed life and I'm still struggling? We don't compare ourselves to what we think other people have going on. Have you ever noticed that other people put on a good face? Everyone, we always put on our best before we step out of the house. And everyone, you never put your failures on your resume, right? Your resume is all the things you did well and got all the awards you won, not the awards you didn't win. All the jobs that you want them to call, not the ones where you sort of acted out on your way out. Your resume, right? Your resume is, that's how we do. Your first date, you don't come to the restaurant telling about all of your hang-ups and baggage. Not if you want a second date. So we put on our best face, right, to go out. Meanwhile, we know what's going on inside of us. And sometimes we look at people's best face, we look at their mask and compare it to our raw meat. Well, that's never going to be a fair comparison. And so here is Bartimaeus saying that he isn't happy with the way things are, and he's willing to do something to get better. He's willing to call for help and to receive help and to participate in the miracle. And he gets his healing not because he is better than everyone else, not because he is good and everyone else is bad, not because he deserves it and no one else does, not because God loves him more than anyone else. We see Bartimaeus' healing because it's his story. We're looking at his raw meat. And so it's his story. But it's a universal story about what is possible for everyone. He gets his healing not because he's special. His restoration, Jesus says, is due to his own faith. It isn't really imparted to him. It is something that he summons from within himself. And maybe Jesus helps him do that, and Jesus certainly affirms that he has done that, but the healing comes from within. His restoration, Jesus says, is due to Bartimaeus' own faith, his own confidence, his own trust in the goodness of life and in the infinite possibilities that it offers. Your faith, Jesus says, has made you well. What God does for us, God does through us. Bartimaeus didn't just express sadness or frustration with his limitation. That's probably where he started, but that's not where he stayed. He asked for help when his initial efforts didn't seem to work. He didn't give up. He made slight adjustments and continued trying. Then he articulated exactly what he did want to experience. Not just complaining about what he was tired of, but he articulated clearly what he did want to experience. He imagined, he saw in his imagination the blessing he wanted and dared to believe that he was worthy of just such a blessing. And as a result of that process of doing the work to expand his consciousness, as a result of his faith, Bartimaeus experiences the change that he needs. And that's a good lesson for us in how to succeed, no matter what the issue at hand is. Don't get stuck in complaining about what you don't like, because where attention goes, energy flows. So if we focus mostly on what we don't like, we are most likely to experience more of the same. So what we do, according to this story, what it shows us is we ask for the good that we need. And we affirm it. and we tell ourselves that we deserve the best. We deserve the good thing we are imagining, that or something better. It may not come in exactly the time we'd hoped for. It may not come in exactly the way we first envisioned. It may not happen at all. Something better may come instead. But whatever is good, we deserve the good. And so we ask for the good we need. We affirm it. We tell ourselves that we deserve the best. And we ask others to pray with us if we can't seem to summon the hope or the courage to move forward. We all need a coach or a cheerleader sometimes. And then we develop a clear picture of where we want to end up without limiting how we might get to that place. Bartimaeus' restoration of sight is a metaphor for how he has now been able to allow himself to see more possibilities in life itself. Once we affirm our good, once we believe that we deserve to experience more good, once we have a clear picture or vision of what our good would look or feel like while being open to however it might show up for us, then we begin to experience positive change in life. Of course, Bartimaeus didn't just receive his miracle. The story says that he then followed Jesus on the way of divine living, the way of hope, peace, love, and joy, the way of believing in and celebrating the sacred value of all people, starting with himself. Yes, Bartimaeus had a very good moment, but that's not the last good moment. It doesn't have to be anyway. Do you remember that person who scored the winning touchdown in high school, which they graduated from 45 years ago? And yet you would think that because that's the only story they ever tell about themselves still. That was a beautiful moment in life. But why let it be the last beautiful moment? Do you remember the person who was homecoming queen and you would think that was the last amazing thing that happened? Do you remember the person who graduated valedictorian? But all of these are past achievements, and certainly we are proud of all the things we've done, but if we don't follow the way, we followed the way that led to those achievements, that wonderful first kiss, that wonderful coming out moment, that wonderful acceptance letter from college, that wonderful time that we were allowed to join the Masons or whatever group that we wanted to be part of, that wonderful, beautiful moment wasn't the last moment. Whatever way we followed to get us there, that way will still take us. If we will continue to follow a vision, if we will continue to move forward, there is still more good ahead of us. Yes, Bartimaeus had a very good moment, but that wasn't the end of his story. He followed Jesus onward. He continued to move forward. His one miraculous moment wasn't all that was available. There could be more in the future if he would follow a vision, if he would continue to move forward. His vision is about having a vision and living into it. The vision he received that day wasn't just an ocular oddity. It was a new way of living, of seeing and seizing opportunities in life, of daring to move forward and trusting that there was much more good still ahead, just waiting for his discovery. The vision we're talking about today is more than sight. It's insight. It's consciousness. That is, it's awareness. To be aware of what is good, to be aware of what is possible, to be aware that the past, no matter how good it was, isn't as good as things can get. And no matter how difficult it was, we are not doomed to repeat it if we're willing to learn from it and release it and move forward. The story might be allegorical rather than historical. It might be symbolic rather than factual. The story might be more literary than literal. Its purpose might be to help us be less myopic about life, less short-sighted, less nearsighted about our lives. The story might be about trying to help us see that what we had previously overlooked, encouraging us to move forward rather than being stuck, nudging us to notice and accept a wide range of possibilities in life. Its truth might lie beyond the details of the possibly imagined events. Native American storytelling will sometimes begin with not once upon a time, but with, I don't know if it happened exactly this way, but I do know that it's absolutely true. I love that introduction to a story. I don't know if it happened this way, but I know it's true. I don't know if it's factual, but I know that there are truths to be found beyond mere boring facts anyway. Rich, wonderful, life-enhancing stories are not about facts. They're about truth larger than the details of the story itself. Now, spontaneous healings occur, and the power of the subconscious mind is almost unlimited, so we should never discount the possibility of miracles. And really, a miracle is just a wonderful thing that is currently beyond our understanding. Flight, space travel, open heart surgery, organ transplants, aspirin, antibiotics, cell phones, the internet, microwave ovens. These were all fantasies that evolved into miracles that are now commonplace. I can speak on my cell phone right now to a friend in New Zealand. My voice can be both today and tomorrow at the same time. And we call it technology. My grandmother, or her grandmother, if she'd heard about it, would have thought that it was science fiction. And if it had actually happened, she would have thought it was a miracle. So a miracle is just an amazing thing that we don't yet understand. It eventually becomes commonplace. And so we don't need to discount miracles. They happen all the time. Just we get used to them and we forget about them. But as possible as it is that someone with a medical condition that caused blindness could experience a dramatic return of his or her sight, it is unlikely that one person having a bit of unexpected good fortune is the real point of the story. This story is much more likely to be the product of creative imagination meant to show us that there are things we don't see clearly. But spiritual healing can help us see and seize opportunities that we otherwise would have missed. This isn't about one person seeing. This is about how all people can see more in and get more from life. In the book of Genesis, Hagar is unfairly tossed out of her home. And she and her baby are lost in the desert without much food. They run out of food and water. And she is desperate and afraid that death is imminent. But when she lifts her head, a voice tells her, an angel, the story says, tells her to look up. And when she lifts her head, when she broadens her view, when she broadens her perspective, when she looks up, she finds a well in the wilderness. When she looks up, she finds something she needs. She was blind to the life-saving well until she broadened her perspective, changed her state of mind, chose a new thought. And then when she changed her mind, when she changed her perspective, when she changed her attitude, when she looked up and looked out, then she was able to see what could sustain her in the difficult moment. Then she could see what she had previously overlooked. The healing opportunity was there all the time. But to see it, she had to look up and look forward. Similarly, the psalmist writes, I lift up my eyes into the hills to see my help coming. I lift up my eyes into the hills. We need a compelling vision to move us forward. We need to release the past to the past and create the future that is possible for us. The writer, a contributor to the work of Proverbs says, without a vision, the people perish. We see Bartimaeus today catching a vision. Mark is writing in the aftermath of the destruction of Jerusalem and its temple. Life looked bleak and scary for Mark's community. The world as he had known it had ended. Looking down with despair could blind them, could blind his community to the possibilities for a blessed future. Mark is encouraging them to lift up their heads, to see possibilities for a great future, to summon the power of hope and move forward. And this is still good advice for us today. In fact, this is the good news. Amen. Are you ready for your miracle? That is, are you ready to have a change of perception, a change of perspective? Are you ready to broaden your view, to lift up your head, to look forward, to move forward, and to find what you may have overlooked before. It isn't that God is withholding some good stuff from us, and if we just beg enough or bargain enough, God will release some of it to us. No, I firmly believe that the source and substance of life has already provided everything. And so our experience, our challenge, is to grow into learning where it all is, learning how to see it and how to seize it. It's already been given. Our journey is to find and accept and celebrate it and put it to use. And as we learn to do that, then we find more and more and more. We see throughout the Bible journeys. That's what our life is. It's a journey, navigating the challenges of life to discover lands of promise all along the way. And so if you need something, trust that it already exists. There's already a well in your wilderness. But you have to see it before you can benefit from it. And to see it, you may have to broaden your perspective. Are you ready to lift up your head, to broaden your view, and to move forward with hope? If so, your miracle is waiting for you. Ministers are coming forward right now to anoint you with oil. There's no magic in their hands. There's no magic in the oil. This is just a healing ritual, a reminder that right where we are, God is. And where God is, there are infinite possibilities. It's now up to us to see and seize those opportunities.
On the night you were betrayed, you took the bread. After giving thanks, you broke it and said, "This is my body, open to you. And as you eat this, remember me."
This is my body, open to you. And as you eat this, remember me. On the night you were betrayed, you held the cup. After giving thanks, you lifted it up. This is my life, poured out for you. And as you drink this, remember me.
This is my life, poured out for you.
And as you drink this, remember me.
Thank you for the wine and for the bread. We recall the life you lived and the truth that you spread.
Thank God our Maker, oh heavenly dove. In Christ we celebrate your wondrous love. In God our Maker, oh heavenly dove. In Christ we celebrate your wondrous love.
Here at the Sunshine Cathedral, we practice an open communion, and what that means is you don't have to be a member of this church or any church to receive the sacrament. Just as you are with whatever your beliefs or doubts may be, you are welcome to participate in this feast of unconditional love. My friends, these are the gifts of God for all the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Hello, I want to thank you for joining us for worship today here at the Sunshine Cathedral. Again, if you're ever in the Fort Lauderdale area, please stop by and worship with us on Sundays at 9 and 10:30 a.m. If you'd like to find out more about the Sunshine Cathedral, about our resources, or about our books published by our senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins, or if you'd like to make a donation to the Sunshine Cathedral, please visit us at www.sunshinecathedral.org. Until the next time, may God continue to richly bless you on your journey.